What's up, everyone? I just want to do a quick follow-up video on the last video on my channel, which was about this plane crash near the home of Buffalo Bills player Dion Dawkins. Now, normally I don't do follow-up videos like this, but, with the holiday season coming up, I'm probably going to be a little bit busier than normal and might not get quite as many videos out. So I figured I'd quickly talk about this because I figured there would be some sort of related riddle in tonight's NFL game. And just before halftime, something very, very unusual happened. And in fact, for the first time in my lifetime, we had a successful fair catch kick in the NFL. A fair catch kick, a rule almost never implemented. This occurs when a team makes a fair catch on a punt or a kickoff. Usually right before halftime, they may opt to kick a field goal instead of taking possession of the ball. And you see that there's been a lot of free kicks in recent years, but none of them have been made. Not since 1976 did Chargers kicker Ray Wersching make a 45-yard fair catch kick. And of course, it's the Chargers that Ray Wersching played for. Well, that was the team that Cameron Dicker plays for. This game was in Los Angeles. But I also want you to look at this. Ray Wersching's kick came against the Buffalo Bills, which is the team I just talked about because that's where the plane crash happened, at a Buffalo Bills player's house. Now, this is essentially the third video that's connected in a row that I've made. And when I talked about the earthquake that happened on December 17th in Vanuatu, I talked about how it was connected to Bills running back James Cook. Part of that decode pointed out that the Bills scored 48 points last week to get their 484th victory of all time. And we had this earthquake in Oceania. Earthquake equals 480, Skull and Bones 480 and 840. Oceania 48. Well, look at this. When you measure from Ray Wersching's last fair catch free kick to the successful one by Cameron Dicker tonight, it was exactly 48 years and 4 weeks later. The Bills sitting on 484 wins. And in Gematria, we get a similar alignment. San Diego Chargers equals 480, and Dicker the kicker equals 840. These are the same exact numbers I mentioned. Earthquake, 480. Skull and Bones, 480, 840. Now, today's plane crash was in the state of New York, which is where Donald Trump was born, the president-elect. Trump always synced to plane crashes. An interesting thing I don't really ever mention is that Donald Trump has matching 589 gematria with the numbers 223 and 322. The big Yale Skull and Bones numbers. Yale, essentially the birthplace of modern American football. Well, tonight's game was Broncos-Chargers at SoFi Stadium. And both of these, Broncos-Chargers and SoFi Stadium, summed to 589 in that same Latin method as Donald Trump. On the date of his successful free kick in 76, Ray Wersching was 9,589 days old. And the whole reason this was connected to Trump was because today is Donald's 326th mercurial birthday. The 326th day of 1963 is when the last president to have been assassinated was gunned down. The name Dawkins, where the crash occurred at his house, Dawkins is 326. Well, would you believe that when Ray Wersching made his free kick back in 1976, it was on the 326th day of a leap year? But wait until you see this. This connection just completely cemented to Yale Skull and Bones, as wild as this seems. So when Ray Wersching made his free kick, he was also on an exact mercurial count a mercurial birthday measuring a orbit of the planet Mercury, which is just under 88 days. And in my last video, I talked about how the Pope just turned 88 years old on the date of the Vanuatu earthquake. So Ray Wershing made his kick at exactly 109 mercurial years old. Tonight's game was played in Los Angeles, the team that Cameron plays for. Los Angeles sums to 109. And when Dicker first made his NFL debut back in 2022, it was on October 9th, or 10/9, which is the anniversary of Yale University. So he played his game on the school's founding date, October 9th. Now, of course, Yale had a very, very special anniversary last year. Throw this graphic up on the screen again. The big 2-2-3-3-2-2 alignment in October of last year. Well, from that date to today's game is 1 year and 71 days. Not only was Yale founded in 1701, but the name Cameron Dicker has matching 171 gematria with the team he defeated, the Broncos. Now, when Dicker made his NFL debut in 2022, I don't even have the calculator on the screen here. So he debuts on Yale's anniversary in 2022, which is a skull bones number using square numbers. So he makes his debut for Philadelphia, which is a city that has 223 gematria. Cameron Dicker was born a span of 2,203 days after Dion Dawkins, the man who had an unexpected visitor on his property earlier today. Dicker was also born 1,223 weeks after Ray Wershing's free kick. Skull and crossbones, that 2-2-3. Wershing's kick was 322 days before Yale's anniversary. And for his epic field goal, Ray Wershing, exactly 26 years and 3 months old. Another number I mentioned in my last decode, a huge number to the order of the skull and bones. Dion Dawkins drafted in the second round, pick 63, the same pick as James Cook, the Bills running back. But let's wrap this up with a little 33 riddle for you. Now, Ray Wershing's name, Raymond, is spelled in a way that I've never quite seen before. R-A-I-M-U-N-D, very unique. Well, this name has Latin gematria of 1506. Now, he was 18,156 days old when Cameron Dicker was born. And Cameron's birthday is 156 days before October 9th. Dion Dawkins was born 156 days after the anniversary of Raymond Wershing's kick. And that date was super interesting. Notice how Ray's free kick was just 1 day after the end of Lunation 666. Right? The very next day, he gets his free kick. And 666 is a number connected to this 156 code. Both 666 and 666s with this 156 gematria. 156 also the ordinal sum of the number 33. Well, the 33rd prime number is 137. And Ray Wershing was exactly 1,370 weeks old for his successful free kick when he was playing for the Chargers. And in gematria, the phrase fair catch free kick equals 137 ordinal. And in reverse, Wershing and Chargers are both 137. Tonight's star, Cameron, with the 137 using capital letters as well. So this runs deep. The last thing I'll share with you is this. If you dig into Cameron's stats, you'll discover that including the postseason, this was Dicker's 86th field goal of his career, the free kick at the end of the first half. And it came against the Broncos, which sums to 86. But when you write out fair catch kick, it also has reduction gematria of 86. That same phrase equals 58, and it's the 58th prime number that we find when measuring from Dicker's debut on Yale's anniversary to tonight's game. I guess last night's game for some of you who are on the East Coast already. This same duration, also 2 years and 72 days, which is another number connected to the 223 and 322, as well as the moon. So yeah, shout out to Anonymous, who was enough of a night owl to join me on this late night little mini stream that I'm doing here. And I did see that that Luigi Mangione arrest was epic, dude. I'm gonna find some images of this. I mean, they marched him out like he was gonna terrorize the Port Authority or something, is what they made it look like. You could see the skyline of New York in the background of some of these images, which for some reason I'm not seeing now. Here we go. I mean, it's so theatrical, as if the name wasn't theatrical enough. If you're one of the few people who watched this video but also missed my video on the arrest of Luigi Mangione, the riddle was just amazing. The name Luigi Mangione is a reference to the video game series Luigi's Mansion. And yeah, that should sound ridiculous, but this is the reality we live in. You know, moon landings, mass shootings, murdered CEOs, with people celebrating assassinations. But for me, the big alignment was this. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon was re-released earlier this year for the Nintendo Switch. 160 days before the assassination of the CEO. And assassination equals 160 ordinal. But this same word also equals 611 in Latin. And the assassination was exactly 611 weeks after the game's original Japanese release in 2013. The murder was also 6 months, 11 days after Morgan Spurlock died. Morgan Spurlock was the film creator who exposed McDonald's in Super Size Me. And then Luigi Mangione gets arrested at a McDonald's after, for some reason, visiting a Starbucks before the assassination. And then he was arrested 611 days before the next eclipse. Brotherhood of Death 611. Donald Trump was shot at 6:11 p.m., and that was 116 days before he was declared the winner of the election on 11/6. And then Mangione's arrest at the McDonald's was 1 month and 19 days after Donald, which equals 119, worked at McDonald's. Donald at McDonald's. So that's what everybody should be sharing. I mean, I guess, you know, the 286 thing is kind of interesting, right? That the video that went viral on X talking about this repetitive 286 synchronicity. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of interesting, but it's weird how videos without gematria in them are the ones that go viral. Granted, maybe I should try, but I have a feeling it's not going to work out so hot. Because this stuff is just mad suppressed. But that being said, there's been some videos I've seen with hundreds of thousands of views on little sites like TikTok that do share tidbits of Gematria, so it's not all bad news out there. I think it's still looking up as far as awareness for this bizarre matrix we live in. I mean, if I didn't have hope for people to see, I wouldn't still be doing it after all these years, right? Okay, everyone. That'll do it for this quick one. Thanks for jumping in on this little follow-up. And if I don't go live before the holidays, or if you don't watch this channel again, do have a Merry, Merry Christmas. Be safe out there. There's a lot of psychos like I used to be out on the road and out on the streets. So watch your six. Peace, love, God bless, and until next time. See ya.